How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today I gotta get a little bit personal with you because I'm seeing so much all over the internets, all over television about Black Lives Matter and the so-called plight of African Americans that I had to give my 2 cents as a guy that is black, that is American, that grew up in the hood, that has guys that are dead, that has guys in the penitentiary. I gotta give you my perspective because I feel like people like me and many others are just not really heard from at all. They just kind of get ignored for the sake of corporate interest and personal self-aggrandizement. But before I get into my story and my point of view, I got to back up a little bit here to give you some examples of why I did this video today. Now, Reddit, well, the co-founder of Reddit, Alex Ohanian, the guy's married to the black woman, Serena Williams, pro tennis player, he has stepped down from the board of Reddit and says, hey, since I'm gone now, fill my seat with the black person. It's like, what? I don't understand. So you can't just step down and have the board decide who they want to pick, number one. Then number two, it's got to be a black person. What if there's a better person that's not black to fill your seat? I mean, I don't really understand just this arbitrary thing of elevating random black people just because you feel guilty. I mean, being married to Serena Williams not enough. You got to go above and beyond a virtue signal. I really don't get it. Also, Legos, they're ceasing advertisement for the police and fire Lego set. It's like, I mean, really, is that going to be triggering to people? A policeman Lego set for real? A fireman Lego set? I mean, this is absurd. And then there is A&E. They're delaying the 33rd season of Cops and new episodes of Live PD because of what's going on with George Floyd and all the riots. And matter of fact, there's a statement from them, and I'll place that on the screen before you, talking about, oh, because of George Floyd, out of respect for his family and Black Lives Matter and the plight of African Americans, we're going to delay this. We're going to show live rescue instead. This is all ridiculous. It's crazy, and it has no real connection to reality. The truth is that these companies are sacrificing a couple of shows for a brief period of time to save their entire network because they don't want to get the backlash, they don't want to get the boycotts, they don't want to get the protests that will affect their entire network and or portfolio of things they have under the parent company. That's kind of what's going on. So when you see companies doing things like this, a lot of times it's not even about how they feel personally. In the case of the Reddit co-founder, it could be that, but everybody else, Legos, they're more worried about their money. You know, they probably got lawyers, advisors, or whatever, PR people that say, hey, you know what? If you don't do X, then Y will happen and Z will be the result, which would be a lot of money lost. So take a little bit of a loss now to avoid a bigger one later. It's not really about you, okay? Even if it was about you, how is Legos not advertising their police and fire toy sets going to help you at all as a black person? Okay. Or is anybody else in America, how's it really going to help? It's not going to help. Now, I got to tell you my particular point of view about this. Is there a big problem with police brutality and black people? No, there's not. Not from my point of view. You know, I've been driving since I've been 16. That's like 20 years now. Okay. I may have had 2 times where I got pulled over and it was my fault. I think one time I was speeding and it was a black cop, by the way. I was like 16, 17 when I first got pulled over. And then there was another one. I forget what it was. I was on the way to work or like my little part-time job back in the day. And it was a black cop and a white cop that pulled me over because I think I had I had an expired tag. Yeah, I knew it was expired. It was like 3 months. I was kind of broke at the time. It was like 3 months expired. I was like, hey man, I'm going to work. I'm sorry. I know my tag is out, but I really don't got no money. And they gave me a warning, let me go to work. So I only had one time where I got a ticket. Another time I got a ticket, it was at a checkpoint. And it was the same problem with my tags. And again, it was a black cop that gave me the ticket. So this whole thing about, you know, you getting brutalized by cops, hunted by cops, you scared when the police pull up on you. I never really had that experience. Okay. And I come from the so-called hood. Like I said before, I know guys is in jail for a lot of different things. I know guys is in jail that kill people. They'll never come home again. I know guys that have been shot, killed. I know guys that have been shot, didn't die. I know guys that got beat up, almost died, had to get the Nightingale to the hospital, didn't die. I mean, I know guys that have done bank robberies, drug sales. Like within, I think, a 1 year period, I might have had 7 to 8 guys I know personally that got locked up on drugs. Matter of fact, I got audited because if I might have been involved with it, but all I was doing was just selling flyers. I wasn't doing no drug selling. I never been the kind of guy to get involved with that, but I come from that type of environment. It was right there if I wanted it, but I was never that kind of person. I was always a bookworm. I was always a smart kid. I never had no reason to go out here and engage in ridiculousness. And then I had great parents, and they put me on the straight and narrow. My mother would never, like, if I was to even curse at home, it would never be tolerated. So that's why I don't curse today. You see me in videos, I'm a real clean cut guy because how I was raised. That is the main thing you got to focus on, is how parents are raising the kids. And I came from a single parent household too, but my dad was always in my life. He was always involved. He was always going hard for me. He worked 3, 4, 5 jobs. He was a firefighter and then had part-time jobs. He was not on the clock, because when you're a firefighter, you work, 9 days out of the month for 24-hour shifts. But he was not working at the fire department. He had other jobs. Mom had 2 jobs too. They go hard. So I had that same kind of mentality, same kind of work ethic. And that's why I am where I am today. I could be dead like some of my friends are. I could be locked up like some of my friends are or have been, but never been shot, never been arrested, none of that type of stuff going on. I think there was only one time where the police even asked for my ID in a situation that was kind of weird. And it was the fault of the guys that I was riding with. These guys are morons. You know what I'm talking about if you're out there watching. I might have been like 18, 19. I was young, real young. I was in the car with these guys. We came from somewhere. I forgot where we came from. It might have been the beach or something like that. But anyway, we're going back to our neighborhood where we lived. Now, on the way to our neighborhood is some apartments. And when we're driving by, we see the police. And for some reason, these geniuses wanted to go right over there to where the police are at. All right. You can see something happening, like somebody then got shot or it's a domestic disturbance. These guys pull right up to where the police are at, park there, and just sit. It's like, I'm saying, yo, what are you doing? Why are we just sitting right here? This is not where we live at. We don't know nobody over here. Like, you guys are retarded. Now, I'm kind of trapped because if I get out the car, I look suspicious. They're in the car. I get out. I'm trying to walk away or whatever. I look suspicious. So they come over to us, ask for our IDs. These guys getting all belligerent. I'm like, man, here's the ID. I'm just sitting there like this. And they get kind of like, girly attitudes, these dudes, right? But it was nothing. They gave us the IDs back, and then that was it. Some guys turn that into a violent confrontation when they get all crazy, get their chests all bucked out and start fighting. But there's no need to do that. I know guys that are serious, actual people that will kill you right now, today, that do not have issues with the police. They have respect. They carry themselves as a respectful person, and then they get the same thing in return. Now, am I going to say there's never any police brutality? No, I'm not. But is it a real thing that we got to worry about as Black people? No, it's not. It is not. It's actually like the lowest hanging fruit on the totem pole, okay? As a Black person, you probably would die from hypertension, heart disease, cancer, HIV, AIDS, drugs. Another Black person, obviously, dying in a fire, car accident, alcohol, then the police. That is the least of your concern. If you are a law-abiding citizen, the police are not even really a problem to you. There may be a random chance of the police doing something to you if you're a law-abiding citizen, but it's rare. And most of these police interactions where somebody gets shot, killed, the person was usually doing something wrong. Even if the police handle it wrong, the person they shoot was probably doing something wrong to begin with. Walter Scott. This is in South Carolina. Now, the cop that did that was totally wrong. He got sent to jail, I think 20 years with the L or something like that. That's an appropriate sentence. However, if Walter Scott would have just stayed in his car, if Walter Scott didn't want to act up and try to come back, if Walter Scott did not get out of the car and run away, then it wouldn't have happened. Now, I'm not saying the officer was right, but Walter Scott was wrong too. That's a fact. If you are a law-abiding citizen and you just handle yourself properly, you have an extremely low chance. I'm talking about so low, it's not worth mentioning, of being assaulted by the police. So what's really going on? I feel like Black people are being manipulated by outside forces for our votes, for our rage, to go out here, tear stuff up, to create anarchy. And we're doing it to ourselves as well. It ain't just outside sources. We do it to ourselves as well. But I think people like Antifa are capitalizing on that. People are saying, oh, it's only white people Antifa. They're the only ones tearing stuff up. No, it ain't just them. They're out there, of course. But what they're doing is attaching themselves to the violence to push for their own narrative of anarchy, of having no more U.S. government, to put in their own kind of government. You see what I'm saying? Like some may say, therefore, the abolishment of government totally. No, therefore, the changing of it to fit whatever they want it to be actually more restrictive, to have less free speech, less guns on the street. They want you to actually be up under their rule rather than being up under the current rule, which is more freedom, if that makes any sense. So really, we're aiding and abetting in our own demise when we go out there and tear stuff up. To me, it doesn't make any sense, but what do I know? I'm just a guy on the internet talking, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that police brutality or the threat of police is a big problem to Black Americans or to Americans in general? And that's your viewpoint. Let me know why in the comments below. Or is it not? Do you agree with me? What is your particular story where you come from? Like I said, I come from these areas. I come from the hood. You know, white people and police were never really an issue. When I was a kid, I had, like, it was rare to see even a light-skinned person in my neighborhood, let alone a white person. You know, when I got to be probably about 14, when I moved into a more mixed environment, then I was around white people, but they were the nicest people. You know, you go to their house, their mom serve you pancakes and waffles and beef stroganoff. It's super nice. I never had any problems there. It was actually better in the more mixed environment than it was in the Black area. That's a fact. I'm not saying that Black areas are inherently bad and white areas are inherently good. That's just a fact. This whole thing about white people, the police being oppressive is just not the reality in which we live. I think it's easy to focus on that low-hanging fruit rather than looking in the mirror and changing our own selves, saying, hey, you got to work on you, work on your environment, work on your kids, work on yourself. It's easy to do that. It's easy to attack others rather than looking internally and fixing what's going on. See, I look internally. I don't look to external forces to blame. You know, white man bad, orange man bad, policeman bad. I don't do that. I look at myself first and foremost. I think that's what we should all do so we can come together as a collective and push for a better country. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.